and welcome to Winterween 2024. This is my TBR for the challenge and I am excited to see what I think about these books. If you don't already know, Winterween is a readathon that Gabby reads and Olivia reads a latte put together every year in winter and also in summer, where we read horror, thriller, spooky books outside of October. There are 5 reading prompts, which we will go through for each of the books. And there is a Instagram prompt for each day, which I will also share. Technically, the challenge started yesterday, so the first Instagram post that I ended up doing was this one, where I shared my TBR for the readathon. The first reading prompt that we are going to tackle is read a book with a witch on the cover, and I'm going to be reading Shadow Coven, which is the second book in the Witchery series. And on the cover, we have a group of young witches who are dealing with a lot of different things. Obviously, I enjoyed the first one enough to want to continue, so hopefully I have a good time with this one as well. I will say that this series covers a lot of different characters, so it does require a decent amount of thought to follow along, and then also it takes some time to care for each of the characters, but the general idea is interesting, and I have been having a lot of fun with the series so far. Luckily enough, this works perfectly for today's Instagram prompt, which is to post a book with a witch on the cover. So I guess let's do that. Now, admittedly, we have 7 days to participate in this readathon, but I'm gonna see how much I can get through this weekend. So I guess let's dive right in with the first book, and I will let you know my thoughts when I'm further along. Okay, so I am enjoying this one so far. I will say that I do feel like this just has too many characters and too much going on in general. I still feel that way, even though this is book 2. It has been a little bit of time since I read the first one, but I feel like it doesn't have to be as complicated as it is in the grand scheme of things. Regardless, I do still like it. I like the characters, I like the interactions, and I do find myself interested in the story and figuring out what's going on, although it did take a minute for me to get back into it at the beginning. I'm almost done with it at this point, so I guess let me finish up the last couple of chapters and I will let you know my final thoughts. So far, it's pretty positive for the most part, but I guess we'll see. Okay, hello again. Not much has changed since my last update. Basically, it was a fun time. Not a favorite, unfortunately, but I do like the characters. I wish there was a little bit less going on so that it was easier for me to connect and easier for me to keep track of everything, but still, it was good. I would continue this series if it continues. I feel like there is space for that to happen, so I guess we'll see, but yeah. Nice! First book down! Oh, and I realized if you're not sure what this is about, let me tell you a little bit about what the first book is about, at least. Basically, we have a small witchy town that has a witchy school that our 4 friends go to. And this town has a famous curse on it. So our students are trying to figure out whether or not they can break the curse and save the town, and fun times ensue. And to do this, they have to buddy up with a couple of non-witchy students from a nearby school, and things go on from there. It's a fun time. This feels like a dream come true for high school me. I love the diversity. I love the representation. I love the vibes. It's a good time, but my main complaint with both of the books in the series is that there's just a little too much going on with all of the different perspectives that we're going through, all of the information that gets thrown at us, and just trying to juggle all all of that isn't as smooth or enjoyable as I would like, but I still ended up really liking the series regardless. Okay, so the next book I think we're gonna tackle will be White Horse, which admittedly I don't know anything about. So I'm gonna read a little bit and then I'll tell you what this is about once I have a better idea. Yeah, so I guess let's get into, oh, and this I should mention is for the prompt, a book with the letter W in the title. So White Horse, obviously. Okay, so I'm 18 chapters into this, and so far I'm liking it. I actually really like the premise. I do feel like, okay, hold on. Let me, I guess let me tell you what the premise is first. So basically, we have a character whose mother disappeared when she was really, really young, and who now is seeing a ghost that may be her mother. And now she's trying to figure out what happened to her. So there's a mystery, there's a ghost element, there is family and drama and all of this stuff. So I will say, if it wasn't for the ghost aspect, I probably wouldn't be interested in this. Because aside from that element, it's so far very slow going. You're not getting much information. The character, I almost want to say she's insufferable, but that's not true. There's actually nothing wrong with the character. She just has her own issues. She's kind of relatable, but she also isn't at the same time. I don't 100% know how I feel about this. Like, part of me feels like it's a little bit on the boring side, but I'm really excited about this element and the concept that I'm here for it so far. I'm only like 18 chapters in, so I don't fully know what to expect. So I guess I will just get further into this and let you know how those elements are progressing, whether or not it is making the rest of it worth it or what. So yeah, I'll give you an update when I'm further along. Okay, so I'm further into the book. There are some conversations about, when people of color go missing and nobody looks for them. That sort of situation, because our main character is Native American, as is her mother, who she's trying to figure out what happened to. But I will say that all of that stuff's not as strong in the book as I was expecting it to be. And I'm not 100% sure where this is going. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. So hopefully it goes back into a direction that is interesting. I don't know what to think. We'll see. Good morning. Okay, so it is the next day. I finished this yesterday. It was fine. I'm sad I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. I liked reading a book with Indigenous representation in a more just general sense, right? Like, it wasn't a huge focus of the book, although there were some elements and I kind of wanted it to be more of a focus than it was, but it was kind of just like, we're living our lives, right? Like, some of it's normal, some of it's not what you expect. I think there's a good place for that. As a non-Indigenous person, I kind of wanted more, right? But that's no shade to the book. The issue that I actually had with the book is just that it was kind of boring, right? It had this interesting story. It had this ghost element, and it still was kind of boring. And then, although I loved that aspect, and I even think the ending was relatively interesting, I feel like it could have been more, and that's sad, but there's nothing wrong with it. It was a fine time. It's mid-range, right? Like, it's 3 stars. I ain't mad at it. But now, that means it is time for the next book. Oh, Kiwi's coming to hang out. I just opened. Anyway, yeah, Kiwi, yeah, okay. Well, I was gonna go up and get the next book, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. You are all up in the way, honey pie. Sweetie bums. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll give you an update when I get the next book on what we're reading next. Hi, hello, good morning. So I gave an update already about White Horse. Now I am on to the next prompt, which is a book with a purple cover. I'm trying to focus on horror thriller mysteries, so finding a book with a purple cover that fit in that genre wasn't as easy as I was hoping, but fortunately I recently got a Dreadful Splendor by B.R. Myers, which is a mystery book, and this copy I got discounted books, and it actually came with the cover and cut, which is a little bit sad, but yeah, it's not really affecting the experience. I'm loving it so far. So basically we have a sham seance con artist who is roped into doing a seance for multiple reasons for a man whose wife died not that long ago, and he's convinced that she was murdered. And there's a decent amount of twists and turns, and I'm just, right from the beginning, I'm eating this up. I'm really interested in seeing how it goes. I've gotten just enough of all of the information and setup wise for me to be interested. We start off with a seance. We've had some big things going on. We've met important players. I'm very interested. I'm very interested so far, but I am pretty early on, so we'll see if that continues or not. So far, definitely the best start of all of the books that I've read so far. But yeah, I actually have to switch and get ready for my morning workout. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to the audiobook, which I found on Scribd, while I'm doing that workout, and I will give you an update later when I'm further along. Sound good? Good. Okay, so I have finished A Dreadful Splendor, and I freaking loved it. Like, I borderline want to give it 5 stars, which I was not expecting. I was not expecting that at all. I loved the directions it went. I loved the twists and turns. I loved it. I loved the experience. And I don't really go into, you know, the mystery genre thinking that I'm gonna have a 5 stars, but I think this is a 5 stars. I originally was like, oh no, I can't. So it must be a high 4 stars, but I'm like, no, I actually think right now, at least, I think this is a 5 star, which is surprising to me. I just wasn't expecting that. So yes, Winterween for the win. Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. Really loved it. I'm sad that the copy I ended up with is damaged the way that it is. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get a new copy, basically, because this was fun. But that does mean we can start the next one, which the prompt for our next book. Okay, so the actual prompt is a book that is winter themed. So I decided to go with The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. I don't know much about this other than it's supposed to be a thriller mystery situation where a bunch of women, I believe, go on a writing retreat and then they start ending up dead or something like that, and they have to figure out what's going on. Some people love this and other people hate it. I think it's got that silly over the top quality to it, and I'm trying to go in with an open mind. But I'm very curious to see if I fall into the this was an amazing time camp or the this was the worst book ever camp. Like, I want to know. As long as it's not meh. I'm hoping this isn't meh. But I guess we're gonna find out, and I will give you an update when I am, I don't know, halfway-ish through. We'll see. Okay, so I am about 50% into this, and I'm loving it so far. Nobody's died, but weird things have happened. So basically, there is a author who has this really exclusive writing retreat, and it's really hard to get into it. And we've got like 5 people who have been brought to it, and as they get there, they realize that things aren't quite as they seem, and they're kind of being pushed. They're bound, and the things that they are supposed to do in the name of writing is, you know, more and more extreme. And I imagine things are gonna get more and more twisted, dark, and whatever. And I'm excited to see what's up. I'm invested. I'm super in it so far. I've been engaged since the beginning, so that's good. I have been slipping though on the Instagram post. I'm currently working on a reorganization bookshelf video, and I need to, one, post yesterday's because I ended up doing the footage for this, but then I didn't actually get the shot that I wanted to use for the Instagram post. And then I have to do something for today. So this is yesterday's, which I don't know when I'm gonna be posting, and here is today. Nope, I actually skipped that day because it was the do a reel of your reading routine, and I'm not very good at reels, and I was already behind, so don't at me. which I don't know when I'm gonna be posting. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like photo dump and just like do them back to back. Once I get back to that, I'll probably do it on Monday. I'm a lot better with this kind of stuff during the weekdays because like I have a limited amount of time before and after work to do stuff, that I'm a lot more productive with that time. Not that I haven't been productive, especially since I'm doing this whole bookshelf organization thing, but it's like a big undertaking and it's pretty much all I'm doing today while listening to these audiobooks. So yeah, things haven't been going quite as planned, if I'm being honest, but I am enjoying this and I am making a ton of progress and I'm excited about those things. So it's actually pretty successful if you're asking me. Okay, well, I'm gonna continue and let you know what I think once it's done. Hopefully I continue to like it, fingers crossed. Okay, so I have passed the point where I think people get divided in the book. And it's not my favorite twist or approach in a story, but I'm still here for it. I will say I'm not into it as much as I was before that moment, but you know, it's still interesting. We'll still see how things go. I'm not loving it as much as I was initially, which is kind of a bummer because it seems like I'm gonna end up feeling meh about it, which is sad because I was loving this. I was loving this. Good morning. So I made a lot of progress on the writing retreat last night. For the most part, I'm still enjoying it, but I'm not loving it as much as I was. Like, that's basically where I'm at. Okay, surprise. I have just finished The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, and I actually really liked it. I ended up liking it in the end. I was thinking it was gonna be mid, but I got into it. It did fun stuff. Yeah, I'm in the camp of people who like it. I understand why people don't. I was feeling kind of meh about the direction it went in, but in the end, like, it was a good time. So totally here for it. Good morning. It is currently 4:55 a.m. So it is dark out and it will be dark for several hours. So I figured this would be the best time to work on our next prompt, which is to read a book in the dark. I just have on my reading light right over here. I also have the audiobook for this, and I'm going to go with Joe Nesbo's book, The Nighthouse. I think this actually ends up being a YA horror thriller situation. The back of the book says that this is a twisted spin on the classic horror story, and we have a kid who has just moved to a new town to kind of like start over, I guess. Don't know if he's struggling to make friends at first, but regardless, after one of the local boys goes missing, everybody looks at the new kid and doesn't believe him when he says that he saw the boy get sucked into the telephone receiver of a phone booth. And I have to admit that when I bought this book, I hadn't gotten that far in the description, the synopsis, so it kind of sounds cheesy, but hopefully it's still fun. We'll see. We'll see. It seems a little bit more, I don't know, science fiction-y, silly horror than anything else, but I could be wrong because I haven't read it. Hopefully it's enjoyable because I like the cover. I was expecting more haunted house vibes. I'm going to get started on this and I will let you know what I think when I'm further into it. We're not going to read this whole thing in the dark. We're just going to read a good chunk of it. And then we're going to finish the rest of it today. So I'm making progress on The Nighthouse and I'm struggling a little bit because our main character, this kid, is actually kind of a bully, and it sounds like he does that because he's got some internal issues, so he wants to push people away. But the thing that's killing me right now is he gets help from another kid who is a larger kid, and he's just constantly calling this kid fatso, and I hate it with a passion. And I realize that this could literally just be because the kid is supposed to be a bully and have those issues, right? And so the author is trying to show that by him thinking of this kid in such a poor way that is helping him. But like every time he's all like, oh, and Fatso does this and Fatso does that, I'm all like, I just want to punch you in the face. Like, stop calling that kid Fatso. He's got a name. Say whatever his name is. It's internal, but he's just constantly. So far, not a big fan of this. And then it does the tropes that I don't like, which makes sense. Like, the whole point of this story is that something so ridiculous seeming happened that nobody believes this kid when he says, hey, this is what happened. Like, I'm telling the truth, and everyone's all like, people don't get sucked through, you know, telephones. And that happened quick. Like, the first chapter was about this kid being sucked through this telephone, because the whole book after this seems to be him get proof and figure out what actually happened. Okay, disappointed we didn't get the spooky house scene that I was looking for, and now we're just in a completely different setting, and I'm just like, WTF. And I mean, like, it makes sense. It does. But it's just not the fun story I was hoping it would be. Not that it's not, like, not that it's, like, intense or anything. Like, it's not, like, a super serious story. But, yeah, I'm really disliking it. Damn. Okay, so I have finished The Nighthouse, and this one was an interesting experience because, as you guys know, I wasn't enjoying it in the beginning. I was a little bit disappointed in the direction that it turned, and then it did some big twists and turns that piqued my interest and got me kind of interested again. I definitely found myself engaged in what was going on, but I'm not sure how I feel about the ending or the overall premise. I don't know if it's the most appropriate way to handle certain things. I don't know. I don't hate it personally, right? Like, part of me gets the interest, gets the hype, but I'm not the type of person to be able to talk about this sort of thing. And I also worry about, like, stigmas that can come up from some of the stuff in here. So I don't know. It was a fun time in terms of just the almost ridiculousness, over the top aspects of it and the twists and turns. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Which means, out of the 5 books that I read, I have 2 that I really enjoyed, 1 that I loved, 1 that I ended up liking a lot more in the end. So, like, was really enjoying it in the beginning, felt meh about it, and then really enjoyed it at the end. So these were both really good experiences. And then 3 that were hard for me to get into in the beginning, but ended up having a decent time and feeling, you know, like, yeah, like I ain't mad at any of these books. Which means overall, this was a very successful Winterween. It is currently Monday, which means that the readathon is going to go on for several more days. I did catch up on my posts, so you already saw day 1 and 2. I actually decided to just skip day 3 because that was a Instagram Reels, not particularly good about it, and I just can't think of the best way I want to go about creating that kind of video. So I kind of feel bad about that one because I was excited about doing it, but yeah, maybe next time. Then I ended up doing, what are we at? Day 4 and day 5, which I posted this one today, and I scheduled day 5 for tomorrow. And then I also ended up setting up day 6. So we're doing pretty good. And then I need to figure out what I'm going to do for day 7, which is my favorite read. And I'm assuming it's going to be from this readathon. So I actually might try and grab something from here because these are my 2 options, and do like a double. So like one with me holding them, and then a second one with the winner. All right, and that is it for this vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am trying to catch up on all of my video editing and vlogging and things like that. And then once I get back on track and start building better systems and tools and whatnot, I'm hoping to improve these bad boys. So if there are certain things you would like to see more of in future reading vlogs or general vlogs, let me know. Otherwise, stay awesome. Happy reading. Until next time. Bye!